Hi, I'm Brandon, and this is my pitch for CYB3R RUNNERS. So my game is a cyberpunk style platformer game, which is set in a high-tech city. It's set in the future, far future. The idea is to have players running across rooftops and through the cityscape, scaling buildings or scaffolding and other platforms in order to get to the top and beat the other players. It'll be third-person based, and the city will be kind of photorealistic, but the characters will kind of be cartoonish and have the acts of a cartoon and whatnot. The player will need to use agility to jump over gaps between buildings and swing from vines and electrical wires to get from one place to another. Why is it not working? It's not working. So I'm using Unreal Engine for this project. I've been using it for a while and I've become more and more comfortable with it. And I feel like it's also the easiest engine to use, but I haven't used any other engines. There's one other game I know that has been used by Unreal Engine, a platformer game, which is Ghost Runner. It's also in a cyberpunk style city, and it looks really cool, and the visuals are absolutely stunning. I haven't played it myself, but I've seen a few videos of it on it, and I've loved the gameplay. I think it looks amazing.
Yeah, maybe just stick to left and right.
So the characters will be cartoonish, and they'll have the exaggerated emotions, movements and expressions. So they'll have the ragdoll kind of animation, so when they're hit down they'll fall down and kind of look like a doll in a sense. They've got exaggerated and comical humour to them, kind of similar to the Fall Guys kind of style, which I'm kind of basing my game off of. The character models will all be the same, whereas some will have different colours and that'll change between games. But people can change their character's look by adding t-shirts, hats, glasses, any extra customizable features. This is so they can express their individuality, and so lobbies will look better than just like same characters running around, because it can get quite confusing. So not only does it make the player have individuality within the game, but it also makes player easy to see themselves, as it is third player as well. For the levels, I've decided I had 5 ideas that I thought of straight away, which was building jumps. Player has to jump from one building to the next, and they have to do this very I forgot the word. Precise. It has to be precise, otherwise they'll fall down and they won't be able to get back up. Well, they will be able to get back up, but they'll fall down and have to spawn back up at the top. So players must be very agile when moving from one building to another. Moving platform jumps, which is so like cranes moving platforms from one area to another. So players must move quick and make sure they get onto a platform. Players can also push each other off by grabbing each other, and this can stop other players from getting on and knocking them off. This can give other players the chance to get in front of other players. Portal runners, there'll be various portals which players can run through. So it's kind of like the doors in the door level in Fall Guys, where they have to go through 2 certain doors. In this one, the players will run through portals. 2 portals will lead them to the next one, and if they go through the wrong portal, it will spawn them back at the start. Scaffold jump, players must use scaffolding to climb to the top. At the top of the building, things like rubble and other players will fall down, knocking other players down, which means you have to be very careful of other things falling in front of you. If you're not looking in front of you, you will be knocked down. Vine swing is when one player jumps from one vine to another. If another player jumps on the same vine as another player, they will fall down and both players will fall down into the void, and then they'll be spawned back at the start. You're going to have to run through the whole course just to get to that bit again. The art style and animation is intentionally designed to resemble cartoons. This is because it seems easier to make them cartoonish, because I could use the ragdoll effect, since it was already implemented into the template I was using. So I took advantage of it and decided to make the characters hold on. So the characters will look cartoonish, whereas the city will look photorealistic. This kind of contrast between the two, but it won't look out of place. It'll kind of make a mix in the blend, because there'll be neon lights, and it'll kind of mix with the cartoonish colours of the characters. The character models will be the same. I've said this before. They'll all be the same, and they'll have the same kind of colours. There'll only be 4 colours. There'll be blue and red, and purple and green. These are the easiest colours I can think of that you can see from within the kind of cityscape. The city will have light days and dark days. Some levels will be lighter than others, and some will be darker. So the characters need to be seeable, because if you can't see them, you won't be able to make your way through the obstacles. So there's the controls are you'll be able to run and jump, dive, and hold other players. I felt these were easy. These are the basic controls I should have had. Running and jumping was a main part, because it's heavily for parkour based, and diving was also in Fall Guys. Took it from Fall Guys and thought it would be very good to implement it here, because it adds more manoeuvrability. So say you're running towards a platform jump, say you're running towards a moving platform, and if you run, you won't be able to get it, but if you use the dive mechanic, you may be able to catch that platform before it goes away. So it can help play it with the right skill set. Players can use it to get ahead and basically win the game. The pull mechanic I thought was brilliant to add, because if you're playing with your friends, it'll be hilarious if you're pulling each other constantly one by one, and you're all trying to get to the end, and you're pulling each other and you're making each other lose. I thought it'd be brilliant, because it make the game a lot more fun, and encourage people to get their friends to play and suggest a game to each other. And in multiplayer modes, when you're using this pull thing, you can pull mechanic. You pull players behind you, and then you can run in front, getting a lead, maybe even winning you the game, which I thought was brilliant. These are a few examples, a few research images that I found on the internet, and I used an AI bot for them. I put in, so the city is going to be cyberpunk style, but with green foliage to look like it kind of like makes the colours look different. So like you have this grey and red and purple, but then it's counteracted with this green and brown trees everywhere, or green bushes or vines. And it also makes the game look more immersive, because you're running through this city and you've got foliage around you and you're trying to look through it all, and it looks good better. So these research images have a blend of urban architecture and also natural elements, and it's visually striking, and it's also aesthetically pleasing to the human eye, because the colours kind of mix with each other and hit each other kind of. So start. So, marketing the game, I'm going to be making one trailer once the game is finished, but I'll also be making a poster to advertise the game and its release, having all the necessary information such as the release date, what the game is, The fact that it's a parkour-based game and it's multiplayer. It won't be single player, only multiplayer, because it kind of relies on you having to go against other players. But yeah, I'll be releasing the trailer on Twitter, YouTube and Instagram. I did think about using Reddit because it can also be passed around, because Reddit is a hive mind for sharing content and talking about content and what might be good, what might not. It can also give me some criticism on anything that people have picked up on, so any features that it might not like, may like. I'll also be putting posters up around my college so I can gain an audience and see if anyone likes the idea of my game. But yeah, that's it.
Cool.
You're